I'm not just gonna stand here and wait. I wanna just decide what is to be my fate. Alone all by myself, I'm not just gonna stay here and wait.
Good morning, everybody. You can see I am so late on this, I didn't even take the sidebar down. Yeah, it's been a long afternoon. We're in a freaking heat wave, and my brain has gone out the window. As soon as it gets 91 degrees, I'm done. So we've got, well, it's a longer show than I expected. We had more material than I thought we did. That's why we didn't have a show yesterday. So we've got a long one today, folks. And then after credit scene, that'll be a surprise to you and me. We're going to jump into the news. I have a couple of announcements at the end. And thank y'all for being here. Please tell somebody that it's not me messing up the chat in YouTube. It's YouTube. I didn't do nothing. I blame cereal. With that note, come on back at the end and we'll talk some stuff out.
Another questionable night for Eline. Michael Eline's questionable performance on...
And I hit the wrong one, so let's try a new one here. That's how distracted we are this evening. So let's try present again. Video file. Let's try to get the right one up. That's what she said. I know. Oh, no wonder. There we go, right one. And you thought we were professionals.
Fake chili GoFundMe wins day. Now you're just mocking me. This has got to be a scam. Who in their right mind would donate to a fake GoFundMe? I'm going through the list. It's got to be someone's sock account, but a $40 donation towards the fan-run Support Delete Laws from the Tyranny He Fights GoFundMe won the freaking day. I'll say that again. A single donation to a fake GoFundMe run by someone obviously scamming in the name of Jose Chili de Castro won the day. It means another week of this segment and column. Gee, thanks. It means Shuggy gets another updated XLS. It means I'll never, ever, ever get out of writing this column. Somebody out there hates me. That's for sure. Speaking of hating this reporter, Christopher Direct D. Ruff was joined by the YouTuber known as Jim Freedom for a brief livestream on Saturday, simulcast to their multiple YouTube channels for a long discussion of media credits? At issue was Ruff's pivot from First Amendment auditor to media mogul. He and Freedom Jim run the Street Network media outlet, which had exclusive access to the trial of Austin Davis, the founder of the nonprofit AZ Hugs Group. Davis is on trial for holding unpermitted food events in Tempe, Arizona, without a permit. According to Ruff, Davis is facing 6 months in prison for these activities, and his trial is of great interest in the area. A deal was made between Jim Freedom and local News 12 for use of Freedom's footage from the courtroom, as long as News 12 attributed it to Freedom's Street News Network. News 12 declined to do so when they used the footage, which led to a dispute between the parties. The Street News Network initially providing pool coverage for the other media outlets. Both News 12 and Jim Freedom now have the ability to film in court, which brings up a couple of concerns that you should think about. Despite what people think about DirectD and Jim Freedom and their First Amendment activities, they went through the process as a media organization and were granted rights to essentially run the pool camera for this case in exchange for credit for their work. On first appearance, it seems like a case of the bigger media outlets forcing the smaller outlet out of an exclusive. But is it really? If Street News Network was indeed a pool provider, then attribution wasn't necessary. Court TV provides the pool camera for the Karen Reed murder case, for example, without the expectation of credit for their work. While the other members of the pool may help with costs, it's really an informal agreement that allows use of the footage and keeps the party running the pool camera from keeping exclusives for themselves from the footage they shot. News 12 used the footage without attribution. However, they took things further and claimed that they had the exclusive with only their reporter in the courtroom when Jim Freedom was there and reporting. Perhaps they meant mainstream media in their statement. But it's insulting at best to claim an exclusive when they clearly knew that another reporter was there, let alone providing them with the actual footage. I know the line is blurred with everyone claiming to be a journalist on YouTube. I do not claim that title for this reason. I'm a blogger. I run a blog. But at the same time, I write stories, I distribute news, I report on things. If I hear something from another reporter or use another reporter's information, I do my best to provide credit for that information. I would hope that other outlets would do the same when using my reporting. In the case of News 12, despite how I may feel about Jim Freedom's activities outside of reporting, if they had a deal, they had a deal. Attribution is necessary. I personally dislike Aidan Turtleboy Kearney, but if he's the source of information, then I attribute that information to him. It's the right thing to do. News 12 was in the wrong for what they didn't do in this case. Again, as the line blurs and more YouTubers cross over into the mainstream media, there will be more cases like this. There will be more resistance, and there will be a lot more abuse of the term, but fair is fair. If Street News Network had a deal with News 12, News 12 should have abided by that deal. As always, if you'd like to keep us reporting new stories every day, we do have a GoFundMe of our own located in the scroll below. All proceeds go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing new stories to feature here on ReallyCoolSite.org. Benson stalks police in Inglewood. In her most bizarre live stream to date, Regan Benson spent her Saturday afternoon in Inglewood, stalking a police officer she named as Robert, while a manhunt was underway, cackling and catcalling police as events played out around her. The live stream started with Benson standing in a parking lot of a shopping center, with an ambulance and fire truck to her right, and police cars on her left. The two police cars pulled away at a tremendous rate of speed and tore out of the parking lot. Benson explained that the fire trucks were there for a second heat event, as she had been on scene earlier when an elderly black man was lying on the ground at the shopping center. She and another bystander assisted him, and she made a 911 call to get an ambulance on the scene. She continued to tell her story of helping the man as she got in her car to follow police cars as an apparent manhunt was in progress. She claimed that the Inglewood 911 dispatcher gave her attitude and wanted to know information that was not pertinent to the incident and should have sent an ambulance immediately to the scene with no questions asked. Instead of an ambulance, in her story, two police officers arrived on scene and began to question what was going on and eventually had to request medical themselves as the incompetent dispatchers never sent help. Benson switched from the story at this point to berate a police officer identified as Robert, who had been the subject of Benson's scorn over the past week, the homeless activist going so far as to share a negative post about him on her YouTube community page. Robert was standing on an elevated sidewalk observing other officers who were down a hill from him, acting as a spotter as they searched for the subject of the manhunt. Benson, standing several feet from the officer, hurled insults at the officer and criticized police techniques used by the officers before Robert ran to join all the other officers in pursuit of the suspect. The suspect was apprehended, and Benson raced back to police officer Rogers' car to see if he was going to get a ride back to his car. That process was interrupted as she interacted with a member of the SWAT team who had flown the drone that had found the suspect. Returning to her own car, Benson let her followers know that she did not see a need for police for daily issues. She felt that they were only required to be warriors and should face mandatory dismissal from the police force should they kill someone in the line of duty. Benson then updated her plans for the future, as she claims she'll be focusing more on exposing corrupt cops in Denver once her current lawsuits are settled in the area, with a personal target of an officer who had an encounter with her husband in the past. No homeless outreach was attempted in the live stream. Flashback to June 16, 2023. DeCastro's copyright rampage continues. Jose Chile DeCastro's YouTube copyright strike rampage continued Thursday as he issued another series of copyright strikes against the Welsh News Network YouTube channel for allegedly violating YouTube's fair use policies. DeCastro apparently is targeting videos that mention his alleged extensive criminal history. This round of copyright infringement reporting was sparked by his failure to have WNN's recent video featuring the reading of the public documents related to his criminal history removed from YouTube for violating his privacy rights. Thursday saw DeCastro's alleged abuse of the copyright system be the focus of YouTubers Team Skeptic and Irish Demon's individual YouTube live streams. Both YouTubers indicated that they were in talks with YouTube representatives about efforts to stop DeCastro's alleged abuse of YouTube's copyright reporting system in order to quiet criticism from those he perceives as enemies. DeCastro has received harsh criticism from many YouTube creators as he allegedly frequently lashes out at other creators when he encounters criticism or times of great stress. His previous mass reporting spree came last year when he was able to use YouTube's copyright reporting system to temporarily take down channels belonging to Irish Demon, Dog Detective, after suffering perceived humiliation in his ongoing court case against Kate Peter, Josh Abrams, and others. The YouTuber also has received criticism as he is quick to strike channels for using his content. However, his recent broadcasts are filled with examples of DeCastro using content sourced from other YouTube channels without permission. His current reporting spree may have been sparked by his frustration in his multiple court cases, including his failure to have his Las Vegas criminal trial for interference and obstruction delayed over a claim that the criminal matter would somehow chill his rights in the civil trial he filed against the officers involved in his arrest. While DeCastro has claimed to have no knowledge of the Welsh News Network in the past, his previous attempts to strike the channel and his failed attempt to have his fans brigade the channel in order to have it removed earlier this year tell a different story. The Welsh News Network has not been directly named in the United States-based lawsuit as it is based in Wales, though WNN host Dan has mentioned the possibility of taking direct action against DeCastro in the courts of the United Kingdom. Another questionable night for Eline. Michael Eline's questionable performance on Jose Chile DeCastro's livestream brought about more questions than answers on Sunday, as his extraordinarily high viewership figures brought no donations at all to DeCastro's ongoing GoFundMe efforts. Sorry, a moment. Goose eggs! Glorious goose eggs. Zeros across the board. Sunday came and nothing happened. No weird random donations to fake chili GoFundMes. No pity $7 donations to make me go nuts. Just glorious goose eggs. It was a lovely thing to return to, and a reminder that if we get a complete 7 days without a donation for all these funds, this column goes on temporary retirement and life is glorious again. Oh, someone hear my pleas. It doesn't make any sense, though, at least in regard to at least one of the GoFundMes involving Jose Chile DeCastro and that performance by Eline. Michael Eline had another live stream on DeCastro's channel last night. Sunday night, Michael Eline, 600 views observed in the room when it was live. They were doing everything right, though. Gloria AD was literally spamming the GoFundMe stuff with an actual link to DeCastro's real GoFundMe URL. BZ Watchdog was doing trifold commercials. They had a very active chat for 600 people, and the scroll was believable for that amount. But nobody donated. No changes have been observed in DeCastro's GoFundMe accounts. Now, mind you, our opinion is that either Eline purchased viewers or somebody purchased them for him, as the post-live viewership has grown exponentially.
600 became 1,500, 1,500 became 2,000, and so on until, as of press time, the viewership is up to 21,000 viewers. There's absolutely nothing to justify that number, but it is what it is. When Eli does everything right, we have the weird bounce in numbers and absolutely no donations to the GoFundMes. You must wonder if the trifold and 1A cop card sales were also just as bad. DeCastro, a trained pitchman, would often give up and just offer 2-for-1 deals and other gimmicks to make a handful of real sales over a 3-hour period. The most we saw him record or claim to record was 13 sales in a 3-hour period when he went into full-on pitchman mode. It was a mix of digital and real sales, and there may have been a sweatshirt in there, but that was the best he could do when he was live in front of a rabid audience. This is Eli. This is BZ Watchdog. You commend them for trying, but they're not DeCastro. They're not born pitchmen, and most of their audience isn't real. Just as 21,000 has changed to 30,000 viewers as I write this, I'm highly doubting they're making a real difference at this point. As always, if you'd like to make a real difference in our life and keep news stories coming every day, we do have a GoFundMe of our own located in the scroll below. All proceeds go to keeping the lights on, eating, and writing news stories to feature here and on ReallyCoolSite.org. Wallace gives up? Floyd Wallace has apparently either temporarily given up on live streaming on his foreign-only YouTube channel or has carried out the threat of shutting down the channel altogether as he hasn't live streamed in over a week. Wallace's apparent humiliation last week at the hands of the American women he attempted to seduce while live streaming may have been too much for the YouTuber. His post-date stream has been removed, and there's no evidence he's had a dedicated stream since then. The post-date stream saw the YouTuber threaten to shut down his channel and go find a real job. This was notable because it came after weeks of Wallace being excited about the prospect of doing daily live streams in the United States and feature women of a higher quality than those in his foreign-only videos. His sexual conquests and adventures were going to be the key to the channel. Until a meetup happened, he showed serious signs of depression, and he began talking about going to get a warehouse job or start to drive for Uber or DoorDash now that he was in the process of purchasing a car from his cousin. Setbacks aren't new to Floyd, but there are concerns since he hasn't failed on this level yet. The meeting of his Tinder friends seemed to be prearranged to have an outcome which he could use to advance his reputation as an international stud. He got rejected hard, and that dream ended quickly. It may have been enough for him to carry out his threat and sunset the channel. His News Now Omaha channel is still churning out 2 to 3 recycled videos a day, while his Corn Seasons production page remains dead. There was a Floyd Moments Volume 1 compilation video released to his foreign-only channel 2 days ago, but no other word than that. Wallace is still scheduled to go on trial in Oklahoma in August, with a jury selection date set for August 14th on charges of obstructing an officer from last year. It is doubtful that he has left the country due to this, plus the fact that he was strapped for cash when we last saw him. On his last recording, he was asking for donations for both funding to buy the car he was renting and to make the roughly $500 he lost when he was billed for medical services from the Dominican Republic for a second time. We'll continue to monitor the situation and bring updates as we get them. Update: Floyd went live for over 2 hours this afternoon. He seems to be alive. He says that he will be limiting his live streams to when he has an actual topic to talk about and not just random live streams in the afternoons.
Flashback to June 17, 2023. Benson rage quits internal affairs complaint. Activist for homelessness Regan Benson rage quit a complaint session with an Inglewood, Colorado internal affairs sergeant on Friday after accusing the man of not truly listening to her complaints about resource provider All Help. Benson, later joined by Aurora Transparency, live-streamed from the Inglewood Police Department on Friday, where she had planned to make a formal complaint against the city's administration of the All Health Service contract with the city. The controversial YouTube personality stated that the All Health contract was being mismanaged, as no one from All Health had contacted her friends Shelley and Gino, who were living in Centennial Park, in person in the month since she personally contacted All Health last month. Before meeting with the Internal Affairs investigator, Benson stormed through the building on her way to the bathroom, stopping by the portraits of police and fire department officials. The All Health contract is managed through the police department, and Benson warned her viewers to note the names and faces of the people involved in the administration of the contract, as she will be raising complaints about them later. After a dramatic reaction to teasing by her livestream viewers, who used side chat to pretend that she did not mute her phone before urinating, Benson sat down with an internal affairs investigator to file her complaint, later being joined by Aurora Transparency. The duo stated their complaints and recounted their current situation with All Health. When the investigator related that at one point in the past he personally paid for a hotel room to be used by a homeless person, Benson began to berate him, and both she and Aurora Transparency demanded he personally take over case management of Gino and Shelley's case. The investigator indicated that he could not do that since it was not part of his job, and Benson began to scream at the man, accusing him of not listening to her, before angrily getting his information and storming out of the building. Regrouping, Aurora Transparency, who was working as a case manager for Benson's private charity, revealed to Benson that she had fallen out of touch with Gino and Shelley and had no idea if they were still in Centennial Park or needed the help of All Health. Benson returned to her car and gave a lengthy statement about Jesse, the homeless man she had housed in a hotel until the pair had a falling out and he returned to the street. She indicated that an investigator from the Fentanyl Task Force was ordered to call her with updates on her inquiries into Jesse's death. The YouTuber confirmed that she was told by the investigator that signs of blunt force trauma on the autopsy were from emergency officials trying to save Jesse's life. Their attempts at CPR and starting 2 IVs to help revive him, causing bruising and trauma to his body. Benson, wearing a portion of Jesse's ashes around her neck and a novelty necklace, also claimed that she was told that the person who reported Jesse's body was a dentist who had an office in the area and asked the police not to follow up with him. Stating that the dentist was a doctor, as dentists receive basic medical training, she speculated that the dentist could have intervened and saved Jesse's life, but chose not to do so for some reason. While she was not going to press the issue or identify the dentist, she ended the live stream with speculation that the dentist could have possibly saved Jesse's life and bore some blame for the homeless man's death from the overdose that ultimately took his life.
Okay, folks, I may be roboting, so I'll keep my comment short. Somebody let me know if I'm roboting in side chat. Yeah, I'll wait for that for a second. So just say robot if I'm roboting. Anyway, Patreon is going to launch next Sunday. I just didn't have time to fill it with stuff that made it worth it for anyone to subscribe to it yet. So we will be able to start that on Sunday. We've got the new merch store up, and I'm too lazy right now to go grab it. Hold on. I'll throw that in side chat, if I can ever find it. There we go. And thank you for being here. It's much, much too hot outside to contemplate even speaking right now. So it's 91 degrees. I'm gonna go lay down or something, or sit through the Floyd Wallace. No. I don't want to sit through Floyd Wallace. Please, Lord. Please, Lord, don't make me... Oh, he privated it. Never mind, I don't have to. On that note, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:55 a.m. Eastern, for the Karen Reed continuing coverage. The jury is not in attendance tomorrow. It is a voir dire session for all of the experts that the defense did not present so far, or did not even give any indication as to what they're going to testify to. So tomorrow should be an interesting day. We do have an end of credit scene coming up that I made during this very broadcast. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Hope everyone has a cooler night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for the Karen Reed murder trial coverage, brought to you by Really Cool News. If I can find the closing credits.